hope that discussions between Humza and Ash will allow an emergence then of a government that can act in the interests of the Scottish people and in tune with their thoughts on a variety of different issues. Ash will go into that meeting with a positive energy she always does have, with some really good ideas for the future, including, of course, advancing the cause of Scottish independence, protecting the rights, sex-based rights of women and girls in Scotland, and hopefully bringing back some sensible government.
There is a big story in Scotland this week. We've been talking about what's been going on up there for the last couple of days, but there's plenty more to come in Scotland too, I think, ahead of us.
There's going to be two votes, aren't there? Vote of confidence in the First Minister and in the whole government. Well, joining us now is the Alba Party Chair and former SNP MP, Tamsin Ahmed-Sheikh, who joins us now to look at the prospects in Scotland. She, of course, represents the party founded by Alex Salmond. And where are you on the pronunciation, Tamsin Ahmed-Sheikh?
Well, good morning, good afternoon, rather, Adam and Kate. I'm going to start with the pronunciation of my own name, which is Tasmina Ahmed-Sheikh. But separately, I know I've been following discussions this morning and there's some conflict about the pronunciation of our party name. So if you're saying it in English, it's Alba, which is what I use because I couldn't do good enough service to the beautiful language of Scottish Gaelic, where the pronunciation is Alba.
Oh, right, so you'll have made at least some of our listeners very happy. Well, thank you for that. Okay, now, these votes next week, do you see it as your party holding the fate of Humza Yousaf in its hands?
I think that's a situation in which Humza Yousaf now finds himself in and is cognizant of that, hence having written to our MSP in the Scottish Parliament, Ash Regan, asking for her to meet with him to discuss the future and what might be happening this week. And Ash, in her usual professional manner, has accepted that invitation and will be in discussions with Humza during this week, obviously in advance initially of the first vote, which is obviously the vote of no confidence in the First Minister of Scotland. I was watching a BBC interview earlier this morning where it is clear that the Greens have doubled down that they will not be supporting Humza Yousaf as First Minister. So it's just a matter of mathematics. And I hope that discussions between Humza and Ash will allow an emergence then of a government that can act in the interests of the Scottish people and in tune with their thoughts on a variety of different issues. Ash will go into that meeting with a positive energy she always does have, with some really good ideas for the future, including, of course, advancing the cause of Scottish independence, protecting the rights, sex-based rights of women and girls in Scotland, and hopefully bringing back some sensible government for the people of Scotland who want to see action on the economy, health, education, and hopefully protecting our industries, including the Grangemouth oil refinery in Scotland.
It's specifics, obviously, on the question of women and Grangemouth, but it's also being reported that your party is looking for a pact with the SNP of basically them standing down in some seats in favour of you and also in favour of the Greens, who are also committed to independence.
Well, that isn't correct, and I've seen some reporting around that and just been enjoying watching all of it. And whilst there's banter backwards and forwards amongst various different newspapers on the issue, the main issue is what the people of Scotland will be looking for in the negotiations or discussions, I should say, between Ash and Humza, and they can be guaranteed that Ash will go into those discussions. And I'm sure Humza Yousaf will too, with an eye on what's in the best interest of the people of Scotland. So an electoral pact is certainly not on the table and not something that we're discussing at this moment.
So that's not your price, that there would have to be more cooperation between the independence parties?
Absolutely not. I think Adam reference was possibly being made to a ship that has sailed, which was in advance of the general election. In fact, an idea we presented to the SNP last year, perhaps even further back than that, where we advocated it would be in the interest of furthering the cause of Scottish independence, that independence parties stood one candidate in each constituency to maximise the opportunity for the people of Scotland to vote for independence. And the reason for that is that Westminster continue to deny the opportunity for the people of Scotland to have their say. And of course, one of Ash's great innovations that she'll be presenting to Humza and has written to our party membership, and indeed Humza is aware of it, is her draft bill on expanding the powers of the Scottish Parliament to give that Parliament, our Parliament, the Parliament of Scotland, the opportunity to decide its own future. And that is something that's supported by the vast majority of people in Scotland, regardless of how they might vote in an ensuing vote on independence. They certainly think the power should rest in Scotland. And Ash's bill in that respect is very important. She'll also, I have no doubt, be speaking about a constitutional independence convention, something which she mentioned when she was in the leadership contest for the SNP to advocate advancing independence, which will involve all pro-independence MPs, MSPs, and hopefully spread to civic society. And beyond that, of course, giving the people of Scotland the option at every election to vote for independence, which should be on the ballot by simply the first line in every purported pro-independence party saying that vote for us is a mandate to negotiate independence.
Given all the bad blood and the criticism both ways between your party and the SNP, wouldn't Ash Regan look like, effectively be a laughing stock as she bails out Humza Yousaf?
Well, I think that is absolutely not the case. In fact, Humza Yousaf has had to come to Ash, and what will be interesting, I suppose, is how Humza remembers his last comment to her, which was she's no great loss to the SNP. Well, she clearly is a great loss to the SNP and a huge gain for Alba, but more importantly than the party politics, if I can come back to the people of Scotland, very important for the people of Scotland that they will have in Ash somebody who will go into those discussions positively and constructively and in the interest of all people of Scotland. And surely, if she's going in with an agenda that focuses on independence, on protecting the sex-based rights of women and girls, and protecting the economy of Scotland, and ensuring that there's competent government and governance, I should say, surely those are issues that Humza Yousaf can get firmly and squarely behind with no difficulty whatsoever.
Well, he hasn't done so far, has he?
Well, he hasn't had the opportunity, Adam, and I'm not going to preempt a discussion between Ash Regan and Humza Yousaf. I think we should allow matters to take their course, allow the meeting to take place, and then I'm sure we'll hear from both Ash Regan and Humza Yousaf once that meeting has taken place in the early course of this coming week.
Well, Tasmina Ahmed-Sheikh, thank you very much indeed for joining us. The chair there of the Alba Party, or the Alba Party, au revoir to you.